So we're on the way over to my dad's shop this morning. It's a rainy day and the dump trailer business is kind of slow on rainy days, so we're going to use the time to catch up on another project that I've been wanting to do. There's my dump trailer. So let me get pulled down here and set up, and I'll show y'all what we're going to do today. Okay, so if you saw my video on my Pelican Catch 120 walk around and setup video, you saw my junk drawer that I built. This fits under the seat on the kayak, and I've gotten a lot of comments about it. So I'm going to be building another one today for my brother's kayak. He has an Ascend FS12T. And it's going to be configured obviously a little differently in the deck than the Pelican is. But the build will be very much the same thing. And the fact that he has a different kayak than me should just highlight how versatile this design is. It's adaptable to almost any design, or almost any kayak rather. You can see I've got a few more stickers on here than I had before. But we're going to build another one. His is going to be a little bit smaller than mine. Let me step out here to his kayak. Now you see we use an aftermarket seat on his boat, and the seat is a little bit higher but also a little bit smaller. So we're going to have to adjust our dimensions of the box to fit inside the seat here, and then we'll adjust the height of the drawer from the bottom of the box to be able to clear everything out here in front of it so that he'll be able to open the drawer unobstructed. Alright, well, let's get to it. One thing that's important when you're working with this PVC sheet, if you have access to a table saw or some saw that cuts perfectly straight lines, that's what you need to use. You're going to be using glue to fasten this stuff together, and if you have a line cut or an edge that leaves a gap between it and the piece it's being glued to, the joint is just not as strong. So if you have access to a table saw where you can cut long perfectly straight lines so that the entire surface is in contact with the surface below it, or that it's adjoining to, you'll get a better bond with the PVC glue, and the box will just be stronger for it. So I came over the other day, in the interest of saving a little bit of time, I did some measuring, and I went ahead and cut out the top of the drawer, the bottom of the drawer, and the bottom of the box. So what we're going to do now is cut the sides down. And once we get the sides cut out and cut the length, then we'll start putting this stuff together, and I'll show you that as we go. We're going to cut 2 lengths of this board to 4 3/4 inches. These will be the sides of the box, and we'll use one of the pieces when we're done as the face of the drawer as well. So here we go. Normally the use of a table saw would also come with an admonition to use hearing protection. when you're cutting the PVC, it's very, very quiet. It makes almost no noise at all. Let me drop the blade. So in the case of this kayak and the aftermarket seat, like I said before, the dimensions are a little bit different than they were on my box. I think my box is 18 inches by 18 inches. So this one is roughly 17 inches. Let's see if we can check that. Alright, it's 16 and 7/8 inches from front to back. And then side to side is 17 inches. So what we're going to do, this is the bottom of the box, and I've laid out how I want the walls to fit. That way I don't mess up and cut something too short or too long. I don't know if you can see the pencil marks on there or not, but I've laid out right where everything is going to go. And it helps when you're doing this, especially if you've got one where the front to back measurement and the side to side measurement are different. It helps if you mark it. Label which piece it is and what direction it is. This is the back, this is the front, that's going to be the starboard side, and this will be the port side. So let me, I'll measure out between my pencil marks across here, and I'll get a chop saw and cut these pieces to length, and we'll be ready to start standing up the walls for the box. Now I'll show you what I was talking about when I said that it was best to cut these on a table saw or a chop saw. And that's along this line where it's going to be glued down. You see how there's no gap in there. It's a straight line. It fits flush all the way down. And that'll give those two surfaces a good area for the glue to bond to them. And it'll be the same on this side, and the piece that I just cut here will be the back. And again, no gaps. It also helps when you're doing this, have a really sharp pencil to make your mark, because you can lose your measurement in the width of a pencil lead if it's not a good fine sharp point. Okay, to stand up the sides, I've gotten a couple little C-clamps, and all I've done is just clamp the bottom of the box down to the table of the table saw, and then I've got a 2x6 and used the fence of the table saw to bring it over and hold it square and plumb on this. We'll use this as a guide to make sure that the wall, the side of the box, is straight up and down when we put it on. I could have put it just straight up against the fence of the saw there, but I didn't want to get PVC glue on the saw. Now PVC glue tends to be a little bit messy, so we're just going to put this board in here, and I'll put a bead of glue down here and maybe a little bit on the side, and we'll get it set right where we want it, and then we'll let it sit up and harden a little bit before we do anything else. Okay, so something else that I've found that I can do, we've got glue in the joint now, and it is set. It's not cured yet, but that'll take a while. But when all is said and done and I get ready to start assembling the rest of the box, I can come back in and lay a bead of glue right along on the outside of this joint, and it just adds to the strength of it. And May put a couple little blocks in the corners and whatnot to give it a little bit firmer nailing or a firmer gripping surface there. So let me get this turned around and we'll do the other side, get it stood up, and then we'll get the back on. And there's the box glued up. We'll let that sit and cure for a little while. You see I've got the sides and the back on. This will be the front of the box where the drawer face is, and the other piece of scrap from the last pieces we cut on the chop saw there, which is this piece over here, we'll use that as the face of the drawer. There'll be a few other smaller pieces, and we'll cut them out of this as soon as the box is cured enough to be able to move it without tearing it up. And while we're waiting on the box to cure, I'll go over a couple of small points. I told you the dimensions of the box itself was going to be roughly 17 inches, a little bit less than 17 on one plane, and it's going to be 5.5 inches tall. So this PVC sheet is 3/8 of an inch thick, and we'll have a thickness on the bottom and on the top, so we'll subtract 3/4 of an inch from that. The walls are cut at 4 3/4 inches, so the 4 3/4 inches plus the double thickness of PVC from the top and the bottom will make it 5.5 inches. The drawer itself will sit up inside. That's why I just set that other piece aside from now, because we're going to have to trim it down some more in order to make it fit where we want. We'll build up a lip along here. The drawer won't sit flat down in the bottom of the box. The drawer will actually sit on slides, on runners, and we'll start building those next. It'll sit up enough so that you can open the drawer and clear whatever is in front of it without it hanging up. And we'll walk back out here to the kayak. So with the box sitting back up under the seat here, when the drawer slides out, it has to clear this bar, and if it slides all the way out, it'll have to clear this little lip here also. So this is an inch tall, and I think it's about the same as this is an inch tall, and then this is probably another 1/4 inch or so. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the drawer about an 1 1/8 or so off the bottom of the box. That should give us plenty of room to slide the drawer out and be able to get into it without running into everything out in front of you there. Okay, this will be the piece for the bottom of the front of the box. This is what the drawer face will actually rest on. As we were looking at the box a while ago, this piece will fit right in there. Now we cut these pieces at 1 1/8 wide, and when you add the 3/8 inch thickness down here, this is going to put it 1.5 inches off the floor of the kayak, which should be, like I said, plenty of room to clear all of the obstructions in the front as you open the drawer. So what I'm going to do here is fit the piece, make sure I've got it cut right, and then I'm going to put a mark on the inside where it meets the walls, and that'll just give me an idea where to put the bead of glue when I apply the glue to set this in place. So let me go ahead and get the glue on, and we'll get this piece glued in. Okay, so we'll set that in place. Like any time you work with PVC, you've got to be quick. Once you get the glue on there, it doesn't take it very long at all before it is set up. So you need to have everything marked off where you want it to go, and then you need to get it there as quickly as possible once you actually get the glue on it and get it set. Let's see if I can get some of that extra glue off of there. Now, you've got the front of the box where the drawer will be sitting. The next step will be to put the drawer slides in. And what we're going to do for the drawer slides, get this piece of scrap over here that we had. And these are all the exact same height as the face of the thing. We're going to cut them to fit back in here. And we'll have 3 or 4 of them riding in there, and those are what the drawer is going to slide on. There's no drawer rollers or anything, no track for it to jump. It'll just sit on top of those slides, and it'll slide back and forth on it as you pull or push on it. So we'll get these cut to length and we'll glue them in, and I think we're going to do 4 slides in here. That'll enable me to put one up against each side there, which will increase the strength of these joints on the side. And then we'll have 2 out here in the middle. We'll just split the difference after we get the ones on the side in. Okay. You see here, I've got just got them set in here right now, but all the way up against each side, that's where the edges of the drawer slide on, and then these slides will support the center of the drawer. We grab the drawer bottom, and it'll slide in just like this once the drawer is built. So now we'll get these glued in. Going to have to be real quick on these because you have to put glue on the bottom, the back, and each end of the side pieces, and then the bottom and each end of the 2 center pieces. So I kind of like where I've got those placed right now. I don't see any reason to change that. I might take a measuring tape and just center them up a little bit better, but I'll make a mark for each one so I'll know where it goes back to when I install those. Okay, so now what we've got, the face of the drawer here, or the face of the box, the face of the drawer will go in this space, the top up here, and we have 4 slides for the drawer to ride on, and the slides also hold the drawer up high enough to be able to clear anything that is out in front of the box once it's installed in the kayak. I cut a few extra blocks. I had some scrap there, and I cut the blocks out and I glued up along where the top of the box is going to go. They're just going to be an additional gluing surface and a little bit of additional support for the corners just to hold them up. They're not structural. They just glue straight to the sides flush with the top, and when I glue the top down, I'll include those in the glue bead. Okay, so I put the box on the lid. You can see I spray painted a little bit on the inside of the box, and I only spray painted back about 6 or 8 inches, just what would be visible from outside. Glued the lid down, and you can see where the drawer face is going to fit in here. You're going to have an overhang there, will help keep water from running into the drawer if it rains on you or whatnot. Right now I've just got some weight sitting on top of it to hold it until that glue cures. and it's time to build the drawer. Now, one thing to note, when you build the drawer, it's going to be about a 1/4 inch short of the total measurement to the back of the box. The reason being, you want this drawer face to fit in here flush, and if your measurement is just slightly off, your drawer face is going to stick out. Battery on my camera died, so I'm going to have to finish this up on my phone. So what I've got here is the bottom of the drawer, and then I've got the drawer face will go on here. Now the drawer face is going to stick out 3/8 of an inch, the thickness of the PVC past each side of the drawer, and the reason is it's going to sort of mesh in and help to flush up the sides of the whole thing when it's all done. So got the drawer face, I've got a piece ripped. I also don't want the drawer the full height of the interior dimensions of the box, so it's probably a 1/2 inch or so short of that. So I've got a piece cut about 2.5 inches thick, and that's going to give me 2 7/8 inches drawer depth on the inside of it once the drawer is put together. And when I get it put together, I'll come back and shoot some video of that and show you that. Okay, so we got the shell of the drawer built, and I'm not going to move it right now. I'm going to let it sit. I've also, as you can see, I've added some little small pieces of scrap that I had in there just to strengthen up those corners some. And here in a minute, before I do anything else with it, I'll add some on the back side of the drawer also. Now, at this point, we're going to want to put on our drawer handle, our drawer pull. After we add the dividers into the drawer, we won't have room to be able to get in there with a screwdriver if we don't. So right now is when we will add the drawer pull, and I'll have to measure it out, and then looks like I'm gonna have to cut that bolt down some too to make it fit right. But we'll measure it on the outside here. We'll drill the holes, put it in, get it tightened up, get it installed, and we should be ready to go. Then we'll be ready to install the drawer dividers. Now the box has had a little bit of time for the glue to cure, so I thought I'd bring it out here and let you see it. And here in a minute, when the glue on the drawer dries a little bit better, I'll check it for fit in the box, and then while we're letting the glue on the drawer cure, we'll take the box out from under the roof here and paint it, and go ahead and get the outside of it painted up. Okay, we got paint drying on the box. I painted the face of the drawer here before I installed the drawer handle, just so I wouldn't get paint all over the handle when I did paint it. And I've got the inside marked for where the dividers are going to go, and I've got the dividers cut and ready to go in. This one will go across here, and then this one will come up the middle that way. So I'll get those installed, and then the drawer will be ready to paint, and everything should be pretty much finished at that point. Oh, it's ready for paint. And these two screws right here are the only metal in the whole in the whole project. Okay, we're about finished with it now, I think. So put my own personalization on his kayak for him. Got the drawer in, got the dividers in, everything's painted. Fits up tight. I think he's going to be real happy with this. Let me get over here and flip his kayak back over, and we'll give it a shot and see how it fits under that seat. Okay, so there it is installed. I could have probably cut down on the size of it a little bit more and made it fit a little bit easier. It did not go easily up in there, and I couldn't just install the box and then put the seat over it like I can on mine. But it is in there, and it does work. It is functional. The drawer comes out. It doesn't hit anything. It doesn't get fouled up or caught on anything coming out. Plenty of room inside. We'll put some drawer liner in there. So that's it for today. I'm losing light here, and I think we're about finished with the box anyway. But for everybody that had asked me about how I built mine and wanted to know how exactly you go about building it, and I hope that helps some. I will say one thing about working with that PVC sheet: save all of your scrap. Little pieces, big pieces, in between pieces, it doesn't matter. That stuff is useful for everything, and it doesn't rot. It stores well. The little pieces won't warp. I suppose a big piece would warp. PVC pipe will, but it's so easy to work with, and it's so useful for so many different things. And I'll save all your scrap. Keep it and just put it back somewhere where you can get to it when you do need it again. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.